Good morning. Glad to have all you folks here today. We have great weather here today compared to the Battle of Newmarket. Just a cloudy, overcast day, which is good. Nobody gets sunburnt today. This morning I'm going to go over the stained glass wall here on the southern portion of the museum. This museum was built in 1970. I was still in high school, believe it or not. Okay, but during the designer of this window was a Jewish immigrant by the name of Amari Shamir. And he didn't like the view out of this window, so he designed the stained glass window. Where do you normally see stained glass windows? Church, exactly, okay? Now, this window tells a story of the Battle of Newmarket, okay? So I'm going to tell you the story of the Battle of Newmarket based on the stained glass window, which will be confirmed when you see the movie. Everybody see the dark lines, the dark black lines that start high on this side, come low in the middle of the stained glass window and go up on this side? Anybody want to take a guess what those dark lines stand for? Hills. Who said hills? Okay. Actually mountains, okay? This is the Blue Ridge Mountains to the east of here, which is on the other side of the Massanutten Mountain that you see outside the window here that runs through the center of the Shenandoah Valley. To the east is the Blue Ridge Mountains. What mountains do you think are to the west? Allegheny Mountains, correct. You know your geography. That's a good thing, okay? Now, I'll see how a lot of you paid attention in school in geography, okay? The battle was fought here in a pouring thunderstorm in May 15th, 1864 on a Sunday. Neither side really wanted to fight on a Sunday, but in some cases they didn't have a choice. All right. How many people in the crowd, this is a test. We're going to see how many people took their smart pill today, okay? Everybody took their smart pill, raise your hand, okay? All right, how many people see two flags on this stained glass wall? Two flags. Okay, what'd you say, young lady? One here and one where? You don't know where the other one is? Anybody else? Okay, I'll explain it to you. This is the Confederate battle flag, okay? The reason it is in one piece is because this was the last Confederate victory in the Shenandoah Valley in the Civil War. There were other victories, but not in this particular valley. So that's why it's in one piece. The American flag is discombobulated, okay? You see the stars, the red, the white, the blue, but it's all spread out. The reason it's all spread out is 4 years, from 1861 to 1865, it was a divided nation. The nation was divided, so that's why the flag is depicted as broken flag at this point in time in the country's history. 4 bloodiest years in U.S. history. Almost 700,000 Americans lost their lives in 4 short years. More than all other wars in the United States combined, okay? Now, back to the stained glass wall, okay? We have some significant things on the stained glass wall, starting over here. This is the Virginia State Seal. It's here for 2 reasons. One, the battle was fought here in the state of Virginia, which was in the Confederacy at that time. But also, the second reason, primarily, most of John C. Breckinridge's troops were from the state of Virginia. They were rounded up at the last minute because he got word that Sigel was coming south, and he had to make an army from scratch, from nothing. So he rounded up Virginians that was not with Robert E. Lee on the other side of the mountain in the wilderness, okay? Now, this blue seal, anybody want to take a shot at what it is? VMI, okay? The Virginia Military Institute, okay? Why, there's a dark patch above that, okay? Does anybody know what that stands for? 10 guys that died, absolutely. It was a dark day for the Institute, okay? So 10 VMI cadets lost their lives here, 45 wounded out of 257. Do the math. That's about 24% casualties. But they were inserted in the center of Breckinridge's line, you know, and if you're put in the middle of the line, you're going to take some casualties, okay? All right, there's one more seal here. Anybody want to take a guess? The 4th and 5th graders usually get this correct, okay? I'm listening. Back of a quarter, U.S. seal. Okay, it's the U.S. seal. Okay, now, those are significant points on this, okay? There's 10 names listed here. These are the VMI cadets that lost their lives here. 5 on the day of the battle, okay? And the last 5 died of their wounds after the battle, okay? You see the name up there, William H. McDowell. He was the ghost cadet that Charmaine told you about down at the Wheelwright House that got shot through the heart, okay? Jacqueline Standard is the one that I told you about at the fence, at the split rail fence that got shot in the leg in his artery and bled to death. These last 5 here died of their wounds up to 2 months after the battle. The last one here, Samuel Atwell, died in July of lockjaw, okay? So I'm telling you, these young men had never been in battle before. They were from school, you know, and prior to that, all they had done was guard duty and burial detail in the years prior in the Civil War. They'd never been in combat before, okay? But as you can see, it tells the story of the Battle of Newmarket. Does anybody have any questions on the stained glass wall? Go ahead.
Give me the significance of the quarter.
It's the U.S. seal, the United States seal.
Why is it here?
U.S. troops fought here.
Okay.
It also is a reminder that it's the only time that our nation has been involved in battle with itself.
Okay.
All the other wars that we've been involved in have been against other peoples, but we were fighting ourselves.
This was American against American, brother against brother. John C. Breckinridge, the Southern commander, had a brother in a general in the Union Army. They were both from Kentucky. One went with the South, one went with the North. It was literally brother against brother. And in some families were divided. Families, you know, in all the states said, hey, I'm fighting for the North. I'm fighting for the South. Well, see you, love you, bye. See you when the war's over.
Some families actually split them so they knew or hoped that one would survive.
So, you know, it was a very long war. It shouldn't have lasted 4 years, but it did, okay? Based on the numerical superiority, it should have been over probably with proper leadership in 4 months versus 4 years. The South had the best generals, the North had the largest army by far, and more materials and factories and et cetera, et cetera. But it all goes back to leadership, okay? Any questions on the stained glass wall?
We need to go up the ramp. Either direction will get you into the theater. For those that are tall, the last 2 rows have a little more legroom. And this is the one time you cannot have your phones on. No photography.
Or cameras.
We don't own the copy.
Correct.
I think she never marries. She never marries. There's an absolutely gorgeous quilt in here that she made in 1855. Now, being the romantic people that we are, we speculate that she may have had a beau that passed. Because there's an incredible amount of work done on this quilt. And it's dated, and there is actually a twin quilt to hers that is on display at the Virginia Quilt